How's it going, my fellow collectors? I am back again. And I know. If you guys have seen my previous video about the 2.0 battle damaged Terminator from Terminator 2 by Hot Toys, I told you guys that I wasn't gonna be buying this figure. Yet here it is in my collection. Yeah, I didn't stick to my guns on this one. I gave in and I bit the bullet and I picked it up. I was gonna pass on it, but more and more I looked at it. I said this figure has the potential of being really good, and I might miss out on something good. So I bit the bullet and I picked it up. Because as time was moving on, more and more people were pre-ordering this figure. I was checking the retail stores. Sideshow obviously was the first to go. It sold out real quick on there. And then I checked on Big Bad Toy Store. That also sold out. And the only one that I found that still had it in stock, at least a few of them, was Alter Ego Comics. So I made the decision right there and then. I was like, I gotta get this before it sells out here too. So that's what I did. I picked it up. But enough about that. So yeah, the reason I was gonna pass up on it was because I have this lovely figure here. So yeah, I am very happy with him. You know, there's hardly anything wrong with it, at least in my eyes. And that was the main reason. But I really started envying the diorama base, the better paint job on the M79 here. He comes with the tear gas grenade launcher. So yeah. And obviously the entire leather outfit. So I was like, yeah, maybe this figure might be better than what I'm thinking of. So, but yeah, we're gonna get stuck in and get this review going. Obviously, you guys know my thoughts on the movie. I talked about it 100 times in different reviews, so I'm just gonna give you guys the score straight out. It's gonna get a 10 out of 10 because it's one of my all-time favorite movies. So yeah. All right, so that does it for the source information. Now we're gonna move on to the next one. All right, so now we've made it to the category of packaging. And yeah, the DX13 is much wider than the DX46. Yeah. But I think they're about the same depth. So, yeah. I'm assuming, yeah, it has to be because the DX13 comes with the T1000 statue. So I think that's why. But anyway, we're going to go through it as usual. We get the portrait of the figure smack dab here in the middle. And then you get some cybernetic designs there, or digital designs there in the background. Very reminiscent to the 2.0 T1000. It says T2 Terminator 2 Judgment Day T-800 Battle Damage version 2.0 1/6 scale collectible figure DX46. And you get the Hot Toys and the DX logo there on the very bottom. And then it does say the same thing on the top, the T2 logo, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And I believe it says the same on the bottom. Yes, it does. When we turn it to one side, same thing, same text, the DX logo on the very bottom, and then the digital design there in the background. Again, the T2 logo on the very top. On the other side is the actual box that's on the inside with the T2 logo again, and the same text that we read on the front, and the DX logo on the very bottom, but this time it's in an all red color. On the back, you get all the information from all the Hot Toys distributors, the stores where they sell them at, and all that. And the Hot Toys logo on the very top. And then you get your warnings and legal information that nobody really reads. Barcode on the very bottom. And then once we take the inner box out, we get the slip cover with another cool image of the figure and the diorama that it comes with. In the middle it says Hot Toys presents DX Series T-800. And then you get the Hot Toys logo. And then you get a quote from the movie, "Come with me if you want to live," by the T-800. The DX symbol on the very bottom. Although that line did not originate from Arnold or the T-800. It actually originated from Kyle Reese from the first movie. But anyway, once we remove the slip cover, we have that, a little piece of cardboard that outlines the figure. And as you can see, it comes in a styro or a foam packaging, as all DX figures do. And then once you remove all that, you get all the accessories and everything it comes with. And yeah, you get the same thing on the bottom left-hand corner of the same text that's written all over the box. I guess this whole red cardboard outline is supposed to represent the vision of the T-800, because you get the targeting reticle there. It says set up 100%. And then you get like these little digital lines going through it. So yeah. But yeah, that's it for the packaging. So for that, I think I'm going to give it an 8. Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8. Because once you compare it to the DX13 box, I'll show you guys that here in a second. So yeah, it's got this like material. It's supposed to simulate leather. It feels like one of those covers from a chapter book, But anyway, we get all the bullet holes, supposed to represent the battle damage. And then you get like, it looks like blood stains that are like seeping through the bullet holes all throughout the front of the box, running diagonally. It says T2 there in the middle with a gloss finish. And then it says Terminator 2 Judgment Day T-800 Battle Damage Version, DX13 1/6 scale collectible figure. You get the Sideshow logo and Studio Canal on the bottom right-hand corner, and the Hot Toys and the DX logo on the bottom left-hand corner. On one side, this is awesome because it's got these press studs, like it's part of the jacket that he wears in the movie. So that's pretty cool. And on the other side, says T-800 Battle Damaged Version. If it could focus. There we go. Battle Damage Version 1/6 scale collectible figure. DX13 on the very bottom. on the back. So yeah, the DX logo on the very top, the Hot Toys logo right below it, Sideshow logo right below that, and then you get the warnings and stuff that nobody really reads, the Studio Canal logo below that, and then the barcode on the very bottom. Nothing going on the top, and nothing going on the bottom either. Yeah, so we're gonna pop this open, and then once we pop it open, we are greeted with this inside of the front cover. You get this text here where the bullet holes went through. It says, "I know now why you cry, but it's something I can never do." And you know, it's all damaged because it's where the bullet holes went through. And yeah, you still get more blood stains on the inside. It says T-800 battle damage version 1/6 scale collectible figure. And then what's cool about it is that it's closed with magnets. Remember where the press studs are? That's where it's magnetic, and that's how the front of the cover closes. And then in the actual box itself, you get this, I don't know what you would call it, like a piece of cloth. Not really cloth, it's leather, I think. I think it's leather. It feels like leather, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it's all battle damaged. There's bullet holes through it. I guess it's supposed to represent the Arnold's jacket. It's got the Terminator 2 Judgment Day logo on it, and you can take it out. It's just a card, but I'm just gonna leave it inside. And then you get his quote from the movie: "I sense injuries. The data could be called pain." And then once we remove that, acts as a slip cover. You get the figure, and it's a similar design to the DX46, and except this time it's in a gray color instead of red. So yeah, the cardboard outline for the figure, and then here is where the T-1000 statue would be housed. So yeah, and then everything, all the rest of the accessories would be housed below all this. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the packaging of the DX13. So yeah, I gotta tell you guys that the DX13 box is way better than the DX46. The DX13 is gonna have to get a 10 out of 10 because the overall presentation and design and everything is better than this. The DX46 feels like they were just getting lazy and they just said, whatever, we'll make a generic thing here. It's still going to be DX, but not as good quality as this. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to give the packaging category to the DX13 on this one. All right. So stick around. We're going to move on to the next category. All right. So we've made it to the category of likeness. And there's quite a bit to cover here. So we'll just get right into it. We'll start off with the DX46. I gotta say, it's an excellent head sculpt. And the likeness to Arnold is very good, but there are a few inaccuracies. For example, the mouth and chin area, that's not Arnold's mouth and chin. I'm sorry, but yeah, they got that wrong. The other thing a lot of collectors have been pointing out are the eyes, that they're too wide. Um, I guess sort of, kind of. But if you're going for Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's like not making his signature frown, like his angry look, um, then yeah, this does look like him, like neutral type of expression. But if you have his head tilted like this, and that really does look like him. So yeah, um, the paint applications and everything are. I got to say that they're better than the DX13. They definitely improved on that. The hair sculpt is definitely better also than the DX13. So yeah, those are the upsides of this. And people are saying that the shape of the head is also more accurate, more lifelike. Whereas they were criticizing the DX13 to be too round. So yeah, when we focus on the DX13 here, he does have that angry frown, the signature expression that Arnold was known for back in the day. Um, and his eyes are more squinted and everything. And that is definitely Arnold 100% right there. And this is what the mouth should look like. That's more accurate. So I think they got that wrong on the DX46, whereas it's spot on the DX13. Uh, but like I said before, the hair definitely not as good as the DX46, and also the damage that's done like on the top of the head there. You can see it's a lot larger scrape, a wound on the DX46 than it is on the DX13. So yeah. Um, and then we'll move on to the more battle damaged heads here. So yeah, um, not really much of a departure. I mean, from head up, like facing straight forward, yeah, they look pretty like almost the same. At least I'll say. So, but I will tell you that the when the T-800 was getting his face smashed in by the T-1000, you could see the wrinkles right there on the skin on the DX13. They're a little more pronounced on the DX13, which is how it should be. Whereas on the DX46, they're not so much. They're kind of there, but not really. So that's one thing. And then when we look on the sides where the battle damage is, I like how you could see more of the mechanism in the DX13, whereas on the DX46 they kind of hide it with flesh. So I don't really like that so much because it's more detail that you could see in there. And then obviously the eye is different. It looks like it's a little bit more protruding in the DX46 than the DX13. Like, you can see the motorized section here in the brain, but it's covered up by flesh. And here they did it again. They covered it with that skin flap. It's a little bit different, but it's still covered. So I guess that's how it was in the movie, but I don't know. Yeah. And the more I analyze this, the more things are coming to light. And then when we move to the other side of the face, the less battle damaged section, I do remember somebody saying that the scratches on the face were a little better on the DX13. And yeah, I could see that. And so yeah, I'll give that to the DX13. And then the other complaint was that the eyebrows, they're too light. They didn't paint them dark enough on the DX46. As you can see on the DX13, they're a lot more pronounced. So yeah, that's a tough call, guys. I don't know. I didn't think that I would like the DX46 likeness as much as I do, because it's one of those figures where once you have it in hand, it's like completely different to what you thought it would be. Uh, so yeah. Uh, I think I'm gonna have to give it to the DX13 because there's a little more things wrong on the DX46 than the DX13. None of them are like uh 100% like spot on perfect. But yeah, I think that the DX13 has less imperfections than the DX46. So yeah. So because of that, I'm gonna give the DX46 a 9 out of 10, and the DX13 a 10 out of 10. So there you go, guys. All right, so that does it for the likeness. Now we're gonna move on. All right, so now we've made it to the category of outfit. And we'll start off with the DX46 first. Awesome. It's the only word I could think of to describe this. Obviously, everybody knows it's made of 100% genuine leather. And you could tell straight out of the box. Like you can even smell it. It's really awesome. Starting from the jacket, it's all battle damaged, obviously. They did a lot of weathering, so like they must have taken like sandpaper and like rubbed off some sections of the shoulder. You could tell on this side right here. So, because it's not black, it's like gray now. So maybe that's supposed to represent from when he fell off the tanker truck. It was just scraped up alongside the pavement, so that's how his jacket was damaged. And yeah, it's bullet holes everywhere. You got blood also, the blood stains. This big gigantic gash in the center of his chest. Even the bandolier has bullet holes on it. And I gotta tell you that the big hole in his chest is a lot bigger than the DX13. So yeah, and the belt also, it's also made of 100% genuine leather, which is also awesome. That means that this whole outfit is gonna last a whole lot longer than pleather materials. This is found kind of awkward. They put the buttons behind the belt on the back this time. Before they used to be like in front of the belt. So I don't know. I do remember in the movie that you could see the buttons. They weren't hidden like this. So I don't think that that's accurate the way they have it here. But I digress. And then when we look at the pants here, at the cuffs, you see that they're unzipped, but they still have like a leather piece on the inside right there. That wasn't the case with the previous Hot Toys Terminators that have come before this. Like the MMS 117 and even the DX13. It doesn't have the inner leather piece like this one does. So I don't know if that's accurate either. But yeah. And then the same thing with the cuffs on the jacket. They also have that leather piece on the inside. But I think all the previous iterations of the Hot Toys T-800 had that already anyway. Yeah, see, you could see that. So that's nothing new. But I will say that all of the zippers on this figure, they're non-functional. They're just glued on to the outfit, and I find that kind of stupid and lazy. All the other T-800 figures made by Hot Toys have functioning zippers, and they even have the tassels that are tied to them, and these don't. So it's kind of stupid. Like when you have him aiming his gun, whether it be the M79 or his handgun, whatever, and you have him aiming it like right in front of him, the tassels should be hanging down, but instead they go like straight forward. Let me show you on, for example, like this. See, so that tassel should be hanging down, but instead it's like straight forward, which is stupid, you know? It kind of breaks your immersion for reality. But anyway, but yeah, other than that, I think this is a solid outfit. I really like it a lot. The boots haven't changed. They're the same sculpted boots that we've gotten with every Terminator 2 T-800. And the other thing I will say is that this outfit does hug the body really well. It's a tight fit. That can be good, but it can also be bad. So the range of articulation, the outfit kind of hinders that. But we'll talk more about that in the articulation category. The battle damage here on the leg is really good. I'd say it's probably even more gory than the DX7 or the DX8. Why can't I say this right? The DX13. But The one thing I will say is you get these like ripped pieces that are kind of like dangling all over the hole, and you don't get that here. Uh, it's pretty much just like a smooth cut all throughout the hole. So there's no like dangling leather pieces or anything. So I don't think that looks. I think that looks worse than what this does. This looks more real as far as the pants go. But in terms of the actual leg, with the flesh and everything, I think that it looks a lot better on the DX46. A lot more gory and all that. So that's good. And I think even the chrome is a little bit more reflective, if I'm not mistaken. No, never mind. I think they're the same amount of reflection on both. So yeah, and then another thing I like is that they put weathering on the other leg, so you could see right these sections here. So I like that. So yeah, really, really awesome. So yeah, like I said, I like how the whole outfit fits a lot better on the DX46 than the DX13, because if you take a look at this, like it looks like the whole outfit on the DX13 is way too big for the body. So yeah, I think that's one thing that the DX46 wins. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give the outfit category to the DX46 on this one. They definitely upgraded, even though the DX13 holds up and it's not real leather, but it's not flaking or anything, so it's still holding up pretty good. Um, the bandolier, not so much. Uh, the slots where it holds the grenades, it's starting to peel. Yeah, so. And then also, I had to get a new belt for it. This belt here is made of actual leather, whereas the original one that came with this figure, it was made of pleather, and it flaked right away. Within a period of months, I'd say. Um, so yeah, so that's why I gotta give the category of outfit to the DX46. So the DX46 is gonna get a 10 out of 10 on the outfit. Well, no, you know what? I'm gonna give it a 9 because of the stupid zips all throughout the outfit. I think that was, like I said, really lazy on Hot Toys' part. But yeah, so I'm gonna give it I'll give it a 9, and uh, I'll give the outfit on this one an 8 because it's a little too oversized for the body. So yeah. All right, so that takes care of the outfit category. Now we're going to move on. All right, so now we've made it to the category of articulation. And we'll jump right into it. The head, so on a ball and socket joint, connects at the top of the neck. And I got to tell you guys that the skin on the neck is very flawed. You see the bumpy texture. That's unacceptable, especially when we're paying these like extremely high prices. Yeah, Hot Toys has no excuse to be giving us products like that. Do better, Hot Toys. That's not right. It's unacceptable. Okay, anyway, moving on. Yeah, it's got a full 360 rotation. It does have a neck adapter uh, that you place the head over. So, yeah, it does have really good tilt up and down, and lean from side to side really good too. So, yeah, that's good. And when we get to the shoulders, it does do a full 360-degree turn all the way around, but you have to mind the outfit. You don't want to rip it, so be mindful of that. Good shoulder shrug, some butterfly joint, and I believe there's a bicep swivel underneath the silicone arms. And when we get to the wrists, standard Hot Toys wrist pegs. There's no ab articulation because of the work done on the chest and abs. So you can't crunch or tilt back. All of the torso articulation comes from the waist. So that's pretty good, decent, and it does rotate some back and forth, and good lean up and down. So, yeah. Going back to the arms, they do a T-pose you can get out of it, and they don't hug the body very well. Like if you put the arms all the way down to his sides, this is as far as I can get them. Look at how they kind of stick out. And I think that's due to the silicone arms. So, yeah. And then when he does have a double bend elbow, but because of the silicone, again, it bends. Like when you put it all the way up, it'll bend one click down. So that sucks. This figure really shouldn't have come with silicone arms. I don't know what the hell Hot Toys was thinking. We should have got, fully articulated arms with visible seams with this figure. Because when do you pose this figure without his jacket, honestly? Who's going to do that? Especially when he doesn't have any, like, bare hands. They're all gloved hands. Anyway, moving on down from the crotch to hip area. I believe he can kick up 90 degrees, but it's hindered by the pants, so he can't get up all the way. So maybe 40 degrees. Again, with the splits, he could probably go further. Not a full splits, but pretty good amount. But he's extremely hindered by the pants again, so be mindful of that. Double bend knee on the right knee, but the endoskeleton knee, that can only go 90. So yeah. As for the boots, they're fully sculpted boots, so the range is limited. You can get some tilt, or I should say rock from side to side, and up and down, minimal movement as well. So yeah. All right, moving on to the DX13. The articulation on this figure, we'll start from the top as usual. So the head, it's got the same articulation basically as the DX46. The only difference is that he can't look up very far, and he can't tilt his head down very far either, which is kind of a bummer because you can't get those looks like, you know, like the Terminator look where he's got his chin kind of tucked in and his eyes raised, like, you know, giving you that I'm gonna kill you look. So yeah, it's kind of a bummer you can't do that with this figure, but at least with the DX46 you can. And he's got real good, he's got better butterfly joints than the DX46. And good shoulder shrug as well. And also the elbow joints, he's also got double bend elbow joints and bicep swivel as well. So yeah, that's the same. And standard Hot Toys wrist pegs, just like the DX46. And same thing with the torso. You can't articulate that at all. He doesn't do an ab crunch or lean back. Just like the DX46, all the articulation comes from the waist. So he can swivel a decent amount back and forth and lean up and down very good too. But that's one thing that's better on the DX13 is that he can put his arms flush to his side, unlike the DX46 where they're kind of spread out. I think that's due to the silicone arms. So yeah, that's one positive on the DX13. And the articulation on the legs is slightly better than the DX46 as well. He can kick his legs up a little bit more than the DX46. And he can also spread his legs out a little bit more also. And so yeah, he's not quite as hindered by the outfit like the DX46. I think that's due to the loose fitting clothes. He's got more room to move. So yeah. And the knees are the same as the DX46, double bend on the right leg and single bend on the endo knee. So yeah. And same articulation with the boots as the DX46. So yeah, as I think I'm going to have to give the DX13 the win on the articulation. It's got slightly better articulation, so yeah. And then I know this doesn't have to do with the articulation, but the knee, or I'm sorry, not the knee, the neck, it doesn't have that ugly texture that the DX46 has. It's a smooth skin. It's not all rough like this. I don't know what Hot Toys was thinking. So yeah. One thing I forgot to mention, guys, is you can see the battle damage there where you could see the endo skull. You can see that there's a little bit of blood, but not that much. Whereas the DX13, it's a lot better done. The paint job, the paint applications on that. So yeah, that's another win for the DX13. But yeah, so as for the articulation, I'll give the DX13 a 10 out of 10. And I'm going to give the DX46 a 9 out of 10 because honestly, there's nothing that the DX13 can't do in terms of being a Terminator. You know, you're not going to get him in Spider-Man like extreme poses, doing flips and all this other stuff. But as far as being a Terminator, he could do whatever you want, pretty much. So yeah, that does it for the articulation. Now we're going to move on to the next category. All right, so we've made it to the final category, which is accessories. Let me show you guys these poses. These are, I don't know about the DX46. I think I'm going to put it in a different pose other than this, but for like my final display. But I decided to do this just for the review. But the DX13, this is definitely how I'm going to keep him for a while. Where he's just escaping Cyberdyne. All right, so let's run through it. We'll start off with the hands. So it's the same sculpt. Nothing really different. Yeah. The only difference is the paint applications. So you see all the cuts are in the same areas. You see the endo finger that's poking out. Yeah, so the DX46 is a little bit more bloodier. But other than that, they're the same thing. They still got the same creases on the gloves everywhere and all that. So there you go. Make sure I don't mix these up. Okay, so... And they come with the same amount of hands. One gripping hand for the steel rod, 2 relaxed hands, 2 trigger finger hands, and 2 fisted hands. Same with the DX13. And also the thumbs up hand, obviously. So yeah. Now we're gonna move on to the weapons. Here we have the Terminator's Colt Series 70 Detonics 1911 Hybrid. So yeah, it's pretty much a custom gun that they used on the movie. But yeah, the one on this side, the left, this is the DX46s. And this one on the right is the DX13. I gotta tell you guys that I like the DX13's Colt Detonics 1911 better. Because it's got a gloss finish where it looks like metallic. It looks like metal on the slide. So I think it's better than that. So that's the difference. And also the rivets on the grip. The DX13s are a silver color, whereas the DX46s are like a brass or gold, I guess you could say, color. So, but they have the same functions. The magazines can be removed, and the slide does move backwards or forwards. And it's not spring-loaded, which is good. I prefer it that way. Then we have the M79 grenade launcher, or the Thumper, as a lot of people call it. But yeah, as you guys can see, this is battle damaged. The stock has been broken. So yeah, the one on the top is the DX46s, and the one on the bottom is the DX13s. And they both have the same function where you can pop the tube out so you can slide a grenade in. I believe it's the same sculpting. Everything is the same. The sights, both of them, they can come up or you can put them down as they are right here. But the paint job is extremely different. The DX46 has a darker tone, and the wood looks like it's actual wood this time. And so I'm loving the paint applications on it. Whereas the DX13, they really screwed up. They dropped the ball on this one. It's a really bad paint job. It looks like a toy. So yeah, I don't know what happened there with Hot Toys. And here we have the 40mm grenades for the M79, which Arnold uses. The one on the right is the DX13s, and the one on the left is the DX46. And as you can see, they did a much better job with the DX46. It's like a metallic finish that they painted it with, and there is some weathering on it. And there's a good view of the bottom. So yeah, whereas the DX13, it's a little bit more flat color, and there's not much weathering in comparison. And another difference is that the DX46s is a little bit longer than the DX13s, which I think is accurate. They were pretty big grenades, so that's an improvement. Next, we have the Commando Sporter 2 CAR-15 semi-automatic rifle. Yeah, it's kind of funny, the story of this. I always thought as a kid that these were M16s that they were using, but they're not at all. They're basically Colt AR-15s, but this one in particular is a mock-up. It's a Sporter 2. Anyway, the one on the top is the DX46s, and one on the bottom is the DX13s. So yeah, not much difference. Just like the rest of the weapons. Just, a little bit better paint work on the DX46 as per usual, as we've been seeing all throughout the review. It's a little bit more metallic, glossier with the DX46 than the DX13. But they got the same functions, same writing. It says Stoner Rifle, Cal 556mm, and you got the switch there to switch to safety or semi or automatic. And the magazine does pop out, and the stock does extend, and the little what's it called, ejector, it does open. So there you go. Same function for both rifles. Next, we have the severed endo arm. The one attached to the body, that's the DX46. The one I'm holding is the DX13. And I have to tell you guys that I think I prefer the DX13 as far as paint job goes. Yeah, I think they did a better job on the DX13. Because you could still see the metallic finish on it. The DX46 is a little bit too bloody. So yeah. But other than that, it's pretty good. But yeah, it's different in the fact that you have to exchange. On the DX13, you have to exchange just the forearm, but on the DX46, you have to exchange the entire arm from the shoulder down. So that's another thing too. The severed arm isn't silicone, so it's one sculpted piece. Whereas the normal arm, which I'm holding here, let me just take it out of the plastic. It is silicone or rubber or some kind of material, which is, it's good. It looks good. Seamless arms, but for this figure in particular, it doesn't work. Because like I said before in the outfit category, he never has his jacket off when he's battle damaged like this. So I don't know what Hot Toys was thinking giving us these arms. We'd be much better off with arms with seams, visible seams. But I digress. And then we have the leather jackets. The one on the left is the DX46s, and the one on the right is the DX13. So yeah, you could tell that the buttons on the DX46 are a lot bigger than the DX13s, which I think is more accurate to the movie. I think they got that right. And as I said before, the jackets for the DX13 are a little oversized for his body. So yeah, I think they fit a lot better on the DX46. And then when we move on to the steel rods, the one on the right is the DX46, and the one on the left is the DX13. The only way I could tell the difference is because the DX46 is a lot glossier paint application, and the one on the left, which is the DX13, that's a lot flatter color, and it's got more weathering too. So I'm gonna say that the DX13 has a better steel rod than the DX46. It's a lot more believable, because the DX46 just looks like somebody slapped some paint on it and just called it a day. But yeah, those are the steel rods, and then we'll move on to the bases. Obviously we get right here the DX13. This is a standard back in the day DX base, what we used to get with every DX figure, with the two lights in the front. And then you get the steel grate there that has been painted to give it like a rust effect. So it was good for what it was back in the day, but I think it's outdated now. So yeah. And then we get the DX46 diorama base, which is freaking amazing. Like, they gave us this wall here with the chains hanging off it, the steel mesh window there, the little control levers, the guardrails, and then the light up base with the lava underneath. It's freaking amazing. There's no comparison there. The DX46 takes that all the way. It takes the cake on that when it comes to the bases. Oh, there's one other thing I forgot to mention. This is something that only came with the DX46. We've never seen this before. The MM1 grenade launcher. This is the weapon that the SWAT team was using against Sarah Connor and John Connor and the T-800, firing tear gas grenades at them. And the T-800 decides to take it for himself and use it against the entire SWAT police department. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. It's got a rotating cylinder. So that's pretty much the only articulation that this weapon has. But yeah, I'm this is one of the main reasons why I got the DX46, because the DX13 does not have this. So yeah. And then moving on, we get the this is something that the DX46 didn't come with, the liquid metal T-1000 statue that comes with two heads. If you got the I forget what I think it's the special edition version. It comes with two heads, the rubber Patrick chromed head and the liquid metal head. So yeah. And then of course both of them come with their respective tools to move the eyes around, because they both have rolling eyeballs. So the DX13 comes with that one, and the DX46 comes with this one. And then we also get the spare wrist pegs. The DX46 comes with those, and it also comes with spare buttons, just in case the ones on the jacket fall off. You could see the buttons there. But the DX13, it only comes with wrist pegs. It doesn't come with spare buttons. So that's something to point out. Both come with instruction manuals, obviously. But yeah, we already went through the head sculpts, so I don't have to explain that. The severely battle damaged head sculpts, they both come battery operated. You can't plug in a USB for those with either one. People are complaining that that they wish it was USB powered, but I don't know how you would do that on the figure. You'd have to have some kind of port. I guess you could if you did it in the way that Hot Toys likes to do with the lightsabers for Star Wars. Just get a power adapter and plug it in that way. But I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they went with batteries, because I have a fusion reactor, and that's all I'm going to use to light up the light in the eye. So stick around and I'll show you guys what that looks like at the end of this review. That's everything I think I covered for the accessories. And honestly, guys, I don't know. This is a pretty hard decision to make who takes the cake on this one. I'm going to have to give them both a 10 out of 10. Because even though they're not perfect with all of their accessories, like the DX13's grenade launcher, for example, the paint applications on that suck, as I've stated before. But they both also have their upsides, like this kick-ass diorama display base for the DX46, and then the T-1000 statue for the DX13. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say that they tie on that one. All right, so that does it for the final category. Now we're gonna add up the scores and wrap up this review. All right, so to add up the scores, guys, and wrap up this review, the DX13 gets a 58 out of 60. And the DX46 gets a 55 out of 60. So the winner is the DX13. But not by much. Like, this DX46 figure is really hot on the heels of the DX13. So yeah, I do recommend it, especially if you don't have the DX13. So there you go, guys. That wraps up this review. I'm going to keep him right here with the T-1000. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. And consider subscribing to the channel. And until next time, guys, I shall catch you all later on the tube. Alright, bye, guys.